some of the highest tariffs are on Syria, Laos, and Myanmar. Syria facing 41%, Laos 40%, Myanmar also 40%. What is the U.S. trade relationship with these countries, and what is the rationale by imposing hefty levies on these countries?
Well, first off, I don't want you to be seen to be a defender of Mr. Trump on tariffs. I've been teaching this for 35 or 40, 38 years, that tariffs are extremely destructive. We've known that for probably a couple of hundred years. That's why the WTO was established as the GATT after the Second World War, to reduce tariffs, because they reduce economic growth, they reduce productivity, and they increase poverty. But to your question, the impact of tariffs on low-income countries, on much less affluent countries, are much more destructive, and so the impact of these tariffs on these developing countries is far greater than it is on, say, Canada or say on Germany, so this is one more reason why the world community has to work to reduce or eliminate these tariffs.
We're talking about Donald Trump's latest tariffs. And Professor, before we got cut off, my question to you was whether these tariffs really, are they really about trade imbalances or about something else?
Yes, and I'll be very brief. I mean, tariffs for the last 75 or 80 years were used for really only one reason: to discipline countries that were cheating under the rules of the WTO. What Trump has done has radically expanded the use of tariffs and has weaponized them as a political tool to discipline or punish or motivate countries to change their policies in other areas. And so this is a radical departure from the rules of the international economic system of the past 75 years, the so-called Bretton Woods system. He is trying to reform and change and restructure the international trading system.
Professor, how do you think Canada is going to respond?
Because we're a small country, even though we're a very successful country, in the G7 and 10th or 11th ranked in the world by GDP, we're still very small relative to the United States. 2.2 trillion GDP relative to 30 trillion. Prime Minister Carney has played it very cool, calm and cool. He has resisted retaliatory tariffs because they fall on Canadians rather than on Americans. And secondly, President Trump has threatened to, if we do retaliate, to even increase the tariffs on his side to an even higher level. So Prime Minister Carney has been playing it very cool and continued the negotiations to try to come to an understanding to eliminate these without reduce these tariffs without retaliatory tariffs.
Professor, our connection is still very iffy, so I'm going to ask my final question to you. Donald Trump's on-again and off-again tariffs have certainly created a climate of uncertainty. How difficult is it for companies, for businesses to do any kind of planning when you don't know what this president is going to do from one moment to another?
That, I believe, is the most destructive and harmful part of tariffs. It's not the tariff per se, meaning the amount, the dollars. It's the uncertainty. I mean, businesses crave certainty. When you're investing $5 or $10 billion in a new plant, you need to know where the economy is going, not for the next 10 days or 2 days. You need certainty out the next quarter of 25 years or 30 or 35 years. And what this is doing is introducing massive uncertainty, causing consumers to pull back their spending and causing businesses to put their investment spending on hold. This is slowing down all of the countries of the world and the global economy.
All right, we'll leave it there. Professor Ian Lee, thank you.